Hi, everybody. This is Darcy, otherwise known as author PK Anderson, and this is episode, is it 4 or 5 of my season 2 of Dash Away Debt. Um, with the gas prices, I had a plan to go out and do some door dashing, but now with gas prices, I totally am not going to do that. And, it's just it supports my theory that you have to have quite a few different income streams, or else you're just going to be left in the dust uh, by not following through with one of them. Like if one of them tanks, you have to have other things that will pick up in its place. So that is true with both, the dividends that I'm investing to earn in. Um, by doing my online sales for my online store, and also with writing my books. Uh, if I wanted to, I could publish somebody else's book for them. I don't find a love of that though. I and first started my publishing business just to be able to publish all of mine. It was the advice I read that if you're going to do books in series, which that's what I prefer to read, so that's what I prefer to write, that you have more control over your series if you use your own publishing company. And I took that to heart, so that's why I developed my publishing company. I would, however, publish if my husband decided he's thought about doing some sort of thriller type books, and I'm highly encouraging him. I think that he would really enjoy it. And he's also so smart that I would think that he would want to do it, but so far he hasn't done that yet. So, an update for you, I was able to get enough stuff to send off a shipment to Amazon this week, and I have been in receipt hell. I'm getting I'm making forward movement on it, but it is disgustingly slow. So, those of you that are listening, you can't see this, but I have pulled all my receipts. You can probably hear them rattling right now. That's all the ones that I have receipts for. I have a lot of online sales, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to go in and print all of those receipts too if I want to keep receipts not scanned, but in a packet for each tax year. That's what I'm going to start doing. Um, so I need to go in and print all of those, and then I will be able to. I found the correct report to run in Amazon that tells me how much I paid. It's called a ooh, summary report for my Amazon Marketplace, which tells me all the taxes, all the fees to Amazon I paid. And luckily, I actually didn't even open my store on Amazon until May of 2021, and so this is only a few months. And now this process, I think, actually is going to encourage me to have much better records than I was keeping before. So I've actually set up a filing system, which is to my right, that I'll be using. And my idea is, well, I know I'm not the type of person to file my stuff or get my stuff all together for each time I go shopping. I will want to do it on a monthly basis. So that's the goal this next year is get all my receipts logged each month at the close of the month and then move forward so that I'm never more than a month behind. And then also make sure I do that final inventory list on the last day of the year, which you can pull historically. More important is the inventory that I keep here in my own home. So that one, I'm gonna have to calculate backwards based on receipts and stuff that I've already spent for this year. So I'm still probably maybe about another 8 hours of getting all this stuff together. So that's depressing and sad. I know my husband will be very angry about that, but life happens. I ended up missing a friend's funeral just to do that, and that made me feel bad. But basically, I got so involved in pulling all my records together and getting that all together that the time of his funeral came, and I didn't even realize until it was like half hour after the funeral had started, and I was looking basically like this in a flannel shirt, jeans, and I hadn't even put makeup on, and my hair was just in these braids just to stay out of my way. And so I feel very badly as he was an excellent coworker of mine, and his family I know is devastated by it. So hopefully, they had all the support that they needed. They just didn't get it from me. I feel so bad though. The other thing is, I have noticed that weirdly, stuff that I'm not selling anymore is getting deactivated by Amazon in my accounts. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it's stuff that I didn't ever have like more than one or two of the item, and then it's going away. Like this latest one was a safety issue, and it was hand sanitizer, which I don't know. Those were like a one and done kind of deal. I found these Star Wars little hand sanitizers, and I sold them for a huge profit. But they were like a flash in the pan kind of thing. With anything, you have to make sure what you buy is going to substantiate what people want. The other thing, sorry, I have to itch my nose. The other thing is that you can't, you're going to get left with stuff if you go overboard. So, for example, well, actually, let me take a break after, and then I'll tell you on the back side of what my caution for what can happen. So, again, this is my second video podcast. I just wanted to say this before I go to the break, because I meant to say it at the top of the podcast episode. I always listen to my podcasts and when I'm driving in, and I realized when I made the flip last episode to video that I didn't take into account the folks that just still listen driving or what have you. So I want to apologize to you. I didn't get that perspective until I listened to my last episode that's on video. So please know that I took note in that. So I'm trying to describe everything that I'm seeing or that you can see on the screen to also know what it is if you're just listening to the episode. So my apologies for that. I just didn't have that perspective. It's a brand new thing for me to add video. And I don't want you to feel like I think that it's somehow now elevated because it's video. It's not. It's me sitting in front of a camera with no makeup on. Um, but it is an interesting process for me. So I'm trying to always just learn new technology and do new things as well. That's part of me growing my business or the lines of business that I have. Because, I just turned 52 this weekend. My gosh, that's old. And I do want to make sure that I stay relevant in, well, my life and being able to build income streams. I'm not actually doing the video to build income streams. Someone once pointed out to me they thought this was therapeutic for me to do my podcasts, and I totally agree. Actually, it lets me get some things off of my shoulder without having strife in my household or do whatever. So it serves a purpose for me before I worry about what my listeners are, what their concerns are. But I'm going to take a quick break and then we'll be back and I will talk to you about the caution around buying things that are a hot item. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for your, joining me. I did notice my listenership is up again this week. I thank you so much for that. That's so kind. I really wish I would get feedback from my listeners as far as what they would like to have me talk about. I would love that for you. Um, but I did want to talk about it's a danger to jump in on things that are a hot item right now. It's the same concept as holiday stuff, but for example, this is a bath poof, and it's the Mandalorian theme. I am ungated in Star Wars, which I really should be ungated also in Disney, but they won't give it to me. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to take a run at it because The Mandalorian and Star Wars is also licensed by Disney. So I should get ungated in both of those things. But this bath poof, when The Mandalorian was out, this would have sold like hotcakes, right? Fly off the shelves, gone. Everybody wants one. Everybody wants everything that's themed The Mandalorian. Everybody wants it all. But now I'm stuck with a whole bag of these things because, what was selling was a hot item. So you buy more. Of course, you react to the market. And so you buy what's available in the store when you're out browsing around. And of course, this meets my criteria of being very lightweight. I can fit it in a mailer envelope. Now it's not going to scrunch down. When you scrunch this bath poof, it's probably about 2 inches thick still. So if it was fit in a padded envelope, it'd still be about 2 inches width, but it would go in a 6x9 envelope. So it meets my criteria of being an item that I can keep at home. I'm not going to pay warehouse fees for holding them at the Amazon warehouse, and I also only pay a finder fee for this when somebody buys it. I don't pay all the Amazon fees, and they don't handle anything to do with this product other than I can buy discounted postage through them, which I definitely would recommend unless you're going over a pound, and then verify that the price is the best on Amazon, or is it going to be better on pirate ship. By the way, I'm just throwing out my little piece of advice. But so if I'm looking for little items that will sell, a bath poof, this nylon sort of puffy thing that people use with shower gel, this would be a hot ticket for me anyway to buy. But because it is just Mandalorian themed, I'm going to have less people buying it right now because Mandalorian isn't hot right now. It was hot at Christmas, but now it's kind of cooled off until there's another movie that comes out. I'm probably not going to get a lot of sales on those. But the good news is because I'm not paying Amazon Warehouse to hold them in inventory, I'm actually doing better in that regard. Um, So that is good. I don't want to worry about holding inventory here because I just notice, if I wait even like 6 months, inventory I was maybe concerned about that wasn't moving is slowly just flying out the door. And it's really random what will sell. I mean, one day I could like have something that's been sitting on my shelves for 5 months and suddenly every single item I have of it will sell out. And I think that's because you hit the buy box with Amazon. Now, I never change my price. I'll get notices from Amazon that I lost out on the buy box because of my price, but especially now with supply issues, I'm not going to lower my price to try to get that because I'm paying a higher price for it at the store. And so I'm not trying to pass on and gouge my customers, but I also need to be able to make a profit on it, if that makes any sense. But I'm not one of the ones that's going to try to get the maximum amount profit possible. One, you wait a long time to sell that item, but two, it feels like I'm price gouging if I do something like that. So that's not my goal. That I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, but I'm sure lots of people are and do so anyway. But if you are going to get into a market that's hot, know this. Okay, so here's my advice on what things could be hot. So right now you might be able to go into Walmart's or other stores like a Target or whatever and get clearance toy items. But just know you're probably going to sit on those for quite a while until Christmas comes around. And then the problem happens that you were able to buy them and could list them right now, but come Christmas, you're not going to be ungated in toys and you're not going to be able to sell them. So, in fact, they will pause your items that you have listed already during the Christmas season until Christmas is over and then they'll let you sell it again. So, you have to work to get ungated and toys and all of those things. So that's my goal. I'm actually technically not ungated in toys. I'm ungated in toys that are certain brand names. So I am definitely making sure that I'm going to get ungated in toys before next Christmas rolls around because we couldn't list a lot of stuff that we bought. Me getting ungated in Lego and Star Wars really made a huge difference. So definitely focus on some key brands that you know that you're buying in right now and try to get ungated in those items. And then when Christmas rolls around, you're much better set up because you can list a heck of a lot more than somebody that's not ungated in anything and had been selling toys all year. So that is it. Um, my goals right now, by the end of this week, I should have final inventories on hand numbers for 2021. And then I will invent an inventory system that I'm sort of checking, like a little spreadsheet where I check off items. So I kind of have a good idea of what I have at the end of this calendar year in my own warehouse storage space. And then Amazon, of course, provides me with a list of everything that I had at the end of the year. So again, I'm not dashing. I'm not doing any door dashing or Instacart because I am not paying those high gas prices. Gas for me is almost up to 4.80 a gallon, which is a lot. So in fact, we're getting to the point where my husband might have to start driving my little Econo car, and I'm gonna have to drive his big pickup truck, which, eek. I love driving a little car. It's nimble and it gets around, and then if I need a bigger car, then I have my Jeep. So, which is still considered little, but you do what you got to do, and when you have to economize, you have to do things. But again, this is what I tried to tie into at the beginning of my podcast is if you're relying on one method, so say you're only relying on Amazon FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, you might delve a little bit into Amazon fulfilled by merchant, where you're shipping things yourself. Just make sure you're keeping track of every time you drive to ship them or whatever, you're keeping track of that mileage because that is something you can write off as an expense. So but you should have other income streams. So, like, if I had all my efforts only in DoorDash right now, life would be really hard for me. But because I'm kind of multi opportunity in my gig economy work, that I am able to still be making money at this point and not losing money by trying to operate a car that maybe doesn't get good gas mileage. Or if you still think DoorDash is the way, go to a market where you can hoof it. That sounds crazy, but you'd be better off driving to a big city than and like just sticking to a finite area where you're walking around and delivering versus driving because gas is terrible. Gas is very terrible and it's going to keep going up, especially with this war in Ukraine and that tragedy that's happening right now. So, this is Darcy Hendrickson, also known as author P.K. Anderson, and I am dashing my debt away one transaction at a time. Thanks for listening.